Last night, as I mentioned, Donald Trump won the Iowa Republican caucuses. And there were widespread reports of all sorts of chaos at the polls. This included people complaining about poll workers wearing Donald Trump gear, ballots running out, all sorts of craziness, absolutely nuts. But did anything happen that was actually wrong, according to the Nevada Republican Party, which organizes the Nevada Republican Caucus? There were claims on Twitter that it was just a disorganized disaster. There were allegations that poll workers weren't checking ID. There were clear pictures, including the one I'm showing you, if you're watching along with me right now, showing poll workers wearing Donald Trump gear. And there's some confusion about this. It is true that poll workers aren't supposed to be biased, but the Nevada Republican Party was very clear, saying they can wear whatever they want as long as they aren't actively doing anything to help their candidate or to hurt other candidates. This is their call, right? The Nevada Republican Party organizes these caucuses. If they want to allow people to wear Trump gear and make America great camo hats, that is their prerogative, Louis, as long as they're not acting in a way like saying to non-Trump supporters we're out of ballots and giving the Trump supporters ballots. They're allowed to do this. It's who are we to complain?
Well, just because they're allowed to do it doesn't mean that this is how it should be conducted.
Okay, well, that's
right?
a different story.
Yeah, I mean, that's the argument that I would make.
At one point, a poll worker being interviewed by ABC News did reportedly say that she was, quote, helping Mr. Trump. How she was doing that, I don't know. Let's go through a few interesting tweets from last night. Politico reporter Mark Caputo listed some of the problems on Twitter. He said, number one, not enough ballots for some. Okay, that's a real problem. No checking voter IDs. Well, that's their prerogative if they want to do that or not. A poll worker wearing pro-Trump swag. Well, we already talked about that. That's not really a violation of their own rules. Then politics reporter Emily Kahn said, a man here says it's a disaster. No one is checking in or checking IDs. They're handing out ballots willy-nilly. Some guy voted Trump twice. Now, that sounds like something you should be more concerned about, right?
You mean more than someone working for the polls wearing Trump gear?
Yeah, if someone is voting more than once, that should put up a red flag if you're trying to run a fair caucus.
Voter fraud is not ideal, but is it voter fraud if you're just voting twice? I guess it's still considered voter fraud.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think the problem is that we have the Republican Party as an establishment running the operation that determines which Republicans are voted for.
But why should we care, right? If this is how the Nevada Republican Party wants to run this caucus, people voting twice, not enough ballots, allowing people to have completely decked out, almost like in a NASCAR suit of Trump gear. If they want to do it, go ahead. What do we care?
I mean, that just doesn't sound like democracy to me.
Oh, of course.
Right?
I mean, Louis,
Because,
obviously.
Yeah. So that's the problem.
And checking IDs also. This is a party organized caucus. If they don't want to check IDs, don't check IDs or check IDs. The funniest thing to me, though, is it's the Republican Party that is saying, listen, mostly minorities are showing up and saying they're whoever it is that they are and voting and they need all these IDs, blah, 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 blah. No real evidence that that type of voter fraud is even an issue. I mean, there's almost no reports of that every election year. It seems to be a bigger problem among the same Republicans who claim we need to stop Democrats and non-white people from showing up and voting multiple times or whatever. They seem to be the ones, according to these allegations, who are really having the problems. The irony of it is incredible, isn't it?
It is. And it's in a way, it's kind of just like a little bit of a smokescreen, isn't it?
In what sense?
A lot of people are just throwing things like this out there. I don't know if they believe it. They don't have the evidence of it. It's just kind of creating
in Nevada,
all over countrywide. Just
Yeah.
It's like creating a smokescreen to try and confuse people about what's happening in the world of voting and to try and push your, I don't know, whatever laws you're trying to get in there.
Yeah, and also sort of ignoring that, hey, maybe the real reason we need voter ID laws is because the Republicans who claim to want to solve the non-existent voter fraud problem are the ones perpetrating it at our own caucuses, at least allegedly, according to this. The online news world is getting pretty cluttered with lots of nonsense. There's the so-called news sites that rewrite news articles, and then there's the websites we all know that we just can't trust. So lately, I've been reading Smashpipe, which is an online magazine whose goal is to surprise, amuse, and tell readers things they don't already know on a wide range of topics in current events and culture. Smashpipe is less interested in trending topics than in what's actually going on, and Smashpipe has no ads whatsoever other than the reader-generated classified ad section, and they never will. Smashpipe is what happens when you, on a bad day, stub your toe on the miseries and mysteries of life. Check it out at